There is a major event in the financial markets approaching in approximately 13 hours, and Bitcoin is currently rising by about 2.9% as the event approaches. This is the first topic we will cover, though we are seeing some nice green everywhere. Many older coins are beginning to pump a little bit due to this event, but Bitcoin is still leading the pack. Primary concern. In this context, I am somewhat concerned that many individuals will engage in risky bets in the days leading up to the event in an attempt to profit from the markets. As a result, we may witness a series of liquidations. We are currently discussing Bitcoin, which has a price of approximately $97,000.00. Earlier today, it reached about 976K. At the same time that most older coins are about to experience a significant change on their USD charts, there is another development. Many of these coins are pressing through important support levels. This has me feeling anxious leading up to the Fed's decision, as a poor decision typically causes a widespread sell-off. I'm sure you're familiar with the event I'm referring to. Yes, it is the Fed's. We will discuss the option to lower rates or temporarily halt them. However, before we get into that, let's take a look at XRP, which hasn't done much, just a 2% increase during the last 2 weeks and a 12% increase over the past month. Here we have the XRP chart. I'll admit it's starting to look a bit tight. Something is about to happen soon. Meanwhile, as we await a major move, on this chart, an impulse is about to occur, and soon we will begin to wonder what the odds are that XRP will surge to a new high. Could XRP potentially surpass its previous highs, such as those in January, by breaking above this trend? That's not going to happen right now. That's what I'm trying to convey. What I mean is that I'll be closely watching Bitcoin in the near future, specifically in the next week or so, as the event approaches. The daily chart shows that Bitcoin is in an uptrend, which is good from an organizational standpoint. However, we've reached a resistance zone, and I won't be satisfied until we break through it. The market is getting excited, but there's still a lot of work to be done. We are currently in the resistance zone. But once we break through, it will be a huge sign that Bitcoin is making a strong comeback. We still need to clear 102,000 though. Now that we're in that barrier zone, the most important thing is to, just so you know, XRP and a bunch of other cryptocurrencies are practically ready for a major move. They're just waiting for something to happen, and that something could be a sell-off. I know it's bad news for you, but there isn't a ton of money floating around in this space right now. So I'm talking about clearing out everyone who is long on. I apologize. I need to go back a week to get a better look, but this is the most extreme case of Bitcoin's dominance to date. A liquidity spiral could occur as a result of liquidations, causing the price of Bitcoin to plummet at a time when it is 65.2% of the market. Bitcoin that has ever been used dating back to January 2021. Okay, so let's examine this more closely. We've reached a big resistance zone across the board, and 65% of the market is Bitcoin. Today is FOMC day, so if the Fed makes a move that hurts the market, we might hear about rate cuts. We want the rates to go down, right? I think that will erase a lot of these chart trends, but it depends on how low Bitcoin goes. This is what Bitcoin's 3-day chart looks like. I've shown that there is a nice hole in the market down here that Bitcoin could fill. So we will sell off if we don't get that 88.4 to 93.1 Bitcoin would be a good amount to fill at the moment. If we can break through this trend line, it would indicate that we are going to fill at 94.5 or 90.9 respectively. Similarly, 94K would be a huge indication that this might be the next. Once again, we can only focus on the here and now as we await the Federal Reserve's decision regarding the likelihood of a rate cut occurring in May. If you lose 94,000, we must examine the daily chart and truly observe a loss. Our ultimate goal is for the daily candle to close below 93.7K to indicate that this is the direction Bitcoin will take next. The 1.7% wager is on a rate cut. It's interesting because we also know that the Fed is likely to hold rates unchanged tomorrow, 98% chance, which applies to both the retail and BY markets. Do you think that minuscule 2% possibility might actually come true? There's a good chance that rates will go down. I'm not implying that we don't have a chance. I'm just saying that it's pretty low. However, if rates were lowered today, it would be a huge push. The bears would be gone, and the price of Bitcoin would be back in a very bullish situation. I believe we can break over $100,000, 0 cents, if we get that. According to CNBC, there's a 1/3 chance of a pay cut during the June session. Personally, I'm more interested in this for the time being, even though we know that Jerome Powell could surprise us with a cut tomorrow. June is still the best month to watch because there's a 31.9% chance that the pay will be cut in. Everyone seems to agree that the BPS will fall by 25 to 50 basis points in June, but no one can agree on the exact amount. I think it will be 50 basis points, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. After that, there will be a 9% cut for a much larger one. Regardless, I'm really curious to see what the Fed does today, and I think it will be one of the most pivotal days for the financial markets. Furthermore, I am curious to know the state of the M2 supply for each of the major currencies. It's clear that we require additional liquidity, as I've been mentioning to you all about how the markets are becoming overly liquid. I've already discussed the 4-year trend and the reasons for it, but it's crucial to keep in mind that Bitcoin closely follows liquidity. Works as intended, it fluctuates in tandem with fluctuations in liquidity. Typically, liquidity cycles span 4 years, which is fantastic news for Bitcoin, isn't it? People assume this is hard-coded into Bitcoin or something, since its price rises and falls in tandem with the money supply during elections, but in reality, it's been flawless. Everything has been set up from the start of Bitcoin. The 4-year cycle generally follows the cash cycles, which can change significantly. Currently, I'm focusing on the M2 cycle because China has been leading for some time. There are indications that the EU and Japan are making significant strides in this area, but everyone is still talking about the US and what it does next. Think the Fed should drop rates? They're under no need to do so, and many believe they're just piling money into the system to stave off rate reduction. What are your thoughts on this new move? In a major move to stave off rate cuts, the Federal Reserve has just purchased $20 billion 0 cents worth of 3-year bonds, thereby injecting more money into the system. Sponsor here is SiriusXM. They is here with some great news for the cryptocurrency market. The $20 billion F100 million injection is about